Bami Salako. We begin with headlines. Nigeria and South Africa fully operationalized Joint Ministerial Advisory Council to enhance economic cooperation between the two leading African economies. Plus, on the news, Nigerian Senate yields to public pressure, suspending deliberations on 4 controversial tax reform bills until contentious issues are sorted out. From the international scene, Netumbo Nandi Ndatiwa from the governing Southwest Africa People's Organization is voted in as Namibia's first female president after last week's disputed election. Details of these and more coming your way, so stay with us. Many thanks for joining us at this time. Now, details of the news. Nigeria and South Africa are fully operationalized the Joint Ministerial Advisory Council on Industry, Trade and Investment to enhance economic cooperation between the two leading African economies. President Cyril Ramaphosa disclosed the decision in Cape Town, South Africa, at the Nigeria-South Africa Business Roundtable. At the roundtable, President Bola Tinubu assured that Nigeria is open for business and ready to provide stability, security, and the rule of law for businesses to thrive. At the event attended by business leaders, government officials, and trade stakeholders, President Tinubu expressed commitment to addressing issues discouraging South African investors from growing their businesses and franchises in Nigeria and called on South Africa to reciprocate by allowing Nigerian companies to operate and flourish in South Africa. President Ramaphosa recalled that the Joint Ministerial Advisory Council on Trade was launched during a state visit to Nigeria in 2021. Its aim was to address trade and investment challenges, foster policy alignment, and
one thing only, that we are going through a very stringent, positive reform. To reform the economy to serve the people. And bring prosperity to Africa. I congratulate my brother Ramaphosa for this moment that he has the gavel for Africa in G20.
The Republic of South Africa. It's a real pleasure to have this opportunity to meet these business people who are gathered here, and it does indeed give me a great pleasure to address this South Africa-Nigeria Business Roundtable. We see the purpose of this roundtable as threefold. Firstly, to deepen economic cooperation between the two countries. And secondly, to use this as a platform to address whatever challenges there may well be between
disagreement and resolve them. Resolve them for the interest of this nation. It is therefore proposed that by tomorrow, there will be a meeting with the committee that will set up here. This note that the Committee on Finance that has been that the bills have been referred to should hold action on public hearing and other issues until we resolve these issues.
Still with the Red Chambers, the Nigerian Senate has mandated its Committee on Aviation to summon the Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Festus Keyamo. The Red Chamber also resolved to summon the Director General of the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority, NCAA, Captain Chris Najomo, airline operators, as well as other relevant stakeholders over incessant flight delays and cancellations. The Senate's resolution followed a motion presented by disruptions on Nigeria's socio-economic growth and public confidence in the aviation sector.
Mr. President, the Senate note from series of reportage from both the print and electronic media as well as the social media in
any country where these things happen. But Mr. President, I want to situate the conditions and the operating environment for our airline operators in Nigeria.
The Committee on Aviation therefore mandated to investigate the increasing frequency of flight delays and cancellation by airline operators in the country.
The Senate Committee on Aviation to invite the Honorable Minister of Aviation and Aerospace, the Director General of the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority, airline operators and other relevant stakeholders to, among other things, unravel the circumstances behind the incessant flight delays and cancellations with a view to finding a lasting solution to the problem.
Now to the Green Chambers. The House of Representatives has urged the Ministry of Solid Minerals Development to establish a Nigerian Lithium Production Agency under the Nigerian Minerals and Mining Act 2007. The proposed agency would develop a vertically integrated lithium industry, create a regulatory framework, and design a lithium value chain policy linking mining approvals to midstream and downstream investments.
That the country is facing a pivotal moment in its mining industry due to rising global demand for the renewable energy, but is repeating past mistakes in the oil and gas sector by focusing solely on the upstream value chain, losing the opportunities that come with operating the downstream segments. Mr. Speaker,
Foreign Affairs to urgently address the difficulties faced by Nigerian bilateral education agreement BEA scholars abroad. Additionally, the House directed the Ministry of Education and relevant agencies to collaborate with Nigerian missions abroad to establish a dedicated support system for BEA scholars.
And that there is an increasing number of BEA scholars who are facing numerous challenges in the course of the program. Some of these challenges include delays in stipend payments and shortfall in stipend disbursement, reduction in supplementation allowances, accommodation challenges, health and welfare concerns, as well as late dispatch of new students to host countries that adversely affect their ability to focus on their academic pursuits.
You're still on to the news on Galaxy TV. Coming up next. Magistrate Court sitting in Ado-Ekiti remands a human rights lawyer, Dele Farotimi, over an alleged case of defamation against Are Afe Babalola. Details of these and more coming up to the break. Do stay with us. We are glad to have you back. Now, for more updates and latest news, please visit our website www.galaxytvonline.com. Connect with thoughts on our X handle at Galaxy TV. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Galaxy TV News. You can follow and interact with thoughts on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Galaxy TV. Remember to follow and tag us on our Instagram page at Galaxy TV. Our social media platforms are user-friendly and can always accommodate your live updates and comments as you can easily scan our IG QR code. Petrol pricing is unarguably the strong determinant of market forces in Nigeria. Immediately the removal of subsidy was announced, every price of products and services increased more than 300%. The hope of Nigerians, in which hung on locally refined petroleum products, is getting dashed as a pump price announced by NNPCL Retail after Port Harcourt refinery came live, which is far higher than that of the private refinery which started operations earlier.
Currently, Nigeria's economy is not friendly, and the people understand that the only thing to help the situation is reduction in pump price of petroleum, and people believe that can only happen if the product is locally refined. The emergence of a private refinery brought huge hope, but the price announced by the NNPC Retail when the government refinery came back to life completely dashed the hope of the people.
It's a bit difficult for one to conclude that it's an act of cruelty or that it's an act of insincerity. It will appear that clear and clean from how we get petroleum in Nigeria to a very large extent. NNPCL, let it be NNPCL.
NNPC pump price in Nigeria, I think it's not NNPC that is the problem. The truly problem is our company, which I don't have a regulator, you understand, which I believe NNPC belong to federal government, you understand. So the control, the regulator must come from the federal government. So it's the directive.
The entire thing is deregulated. Then let it be proper deregulation, whereby Nigerians can be licensed to import or to operate refineries. Yes, so if I'm able to operate refinery, it could be modular, it could be whatever. State governments now, if you can operate, if you can build and operate refinery, what stops you? So apparently these things might become cheaper at the long run.
I'm praying to Almighty Allah should bring more investors to the country. When they come, so let it just be a challenge. Challenge to each other. Let us see if the NNPC will come down or go up more. Because Dangote is from Nigeria. So me, I'm begging for foreign investors to come in to our country. And I believe if they come, alhamdulillah, they come to our aid.
From Lagos, this is Lebi Joseph reporting for Galaxy TV News.
The Chief Judge of Federal High Court in Abuja, Justice John Soho, has charged judges to revive their power of contempt to protect the integrity of their persons and courts from injurious falsehood. Justice Soho stated this at the opening ceremony of the 2024-25 legal year of the court in Abuja. Correspondent Kolojo reports that the judge, who noted the growing trend of using media platform to criticize the decisions of judges with malicious campaigns of bribery without proof, added that the judge's reluctance to employ the potent weapon of contempt should not be seen as a sign of ignorance or cowardice.
To heap insults on these elders, some of whom are community leaders. Thus, it is easily discernible that youths who indulge in such conduct display lack of decent cultural background.
Speaking on behalf of the body of benches, a former Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice Kanu Agabi said called on the judiciary, political class, economic managers and others to repent from corruption and the prevailing evil for the survival of the country. Drew attention to the growing gap between societal expectations and perceptions of judicial performance, that the courts do not protect the indigent rights and interests of the citizens, especially in electoral and political cases.
The judiciary needs all the support and encouragement we can give her. It's unqualified. I always liken the judiciary to a parent. Honor thy father and thy mother. That duty is unqualified. You can't qualify it.
As lawyers, our duty of respect.
Delays in the dispensation of justice, coupled with the increase in the number of cases in our courts, have remained a subject of great concern. As someone said, our problem is not access to justice, it is exiting the justice system. And I know that the delays are not necessarily the fault of the judges. Lawyers are often also responsible. Should we then, as has been suggested by some, evolve a court award system that recognizes the court as final and extensive public resource?
Now, to the story teased earlier, a magistrate court sitting in Ado-Ekiti has remanded the human rights lawyer Dele Farotimi over an alleged case of defamation against the person of the founder of Afe Babalola University, Are Afe Babalola. Farotimi was arraigned for allegedly publishing a book, Nigeria and its Criminal Justice System, where he alleged that Are Afe Babalola corrupted the judiciary and procured judgment in the Supreme Court, thereby exposing him to hatred, contempt, ridicule, and damaged his art-earned career. The suspect, Dele Farotimi, pleaded not guilty to all the 16-count charge. Police prosecutor Samson Oshun called for the remand of the suspect in prison custody pending further investigation and its outcome for the maintenance of security in the country. Counsel to the defendant, Dayo Akeredolu, opposed the remand call and pleaded with the court to admit the defendant to bail on very liberal terms and on self-recognizance. Lawyer and activist Dele Farotimi by the Nigerian Police Force (NPF). The national coordinator of the group, Dryness Tanko, made this known in Kaduna while briefing newsmen. He expressed deep concern over Farotimi's arrest and allegations of defamation of character. Dryness stated that Farotimi's arrest was a violation of legal principles and an affront to the rule of law while appealing
for human rights. Dele Farotimi has consistently spoken out against injustice, championed the right of marginalization of communities. His arrest appeared to be a blunted attempt to silence him and intimidate others who dare to challenge the status quo.
Court papers filed by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission have linked the immediate past governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, to the massive Abuja property with 753 duplexes and other apartments located in the cadastral zone area of the capital city. The announced on Monday, describing the property as the biggest single recovery it made in the course of fighting corruption since its establishment in 2003. In the court document obtained by newsmen, the EFCC ran a narration linking Emefiele to the massive property spanning 150,500 square meter and identified as Plot 109 Cadastral Zone C09, Local Government District, Abuja. Emefiele is currently being prosecuted by the EFCC in 3 separate cases before the phase of the judgment. Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara has promised to implement the report of the Judicial Commission of Inquiry set up by him to find out the remote cause of the killings and burnings of some local government councils in October this year. Governor Fubara made the disclosure when he received a 7-member committee led by the chairman, Justice Rosalind Ibiwengi, at the Government House in Port Harcourt. Addressing the committee members after receiving the detailed report, the Rivers State Governor said it will not be a party to any system that will encourage destruction in Rivers State.
A system that would end, we had to inaugurate this commission so that this commission
has not just made us members of a commission that were assigned to do a report after hearing people, but then I want to say that unintentionally the governor actually put together a group of people who eventually I got to know that love this River State.
Moving on to other stories, the Nigerian Army has reiterated that the family of the late Chief of Army Staff Taoreed Lagbaja remains part of his responsibilities. Chief of Army Staff Lieutenant General Olufemi Oluyede gave the indication while playing news to the Nigerian Army. Oluyede urged NAOA members to continue to support the late Lagbaja's family, especially in this trying moment.
I want to state here that Mrs. Lagbaja remains a member of this family, so please do not forget her, because we at this side will not forget her. I have promised her that she remains a member of this good life, especially in bringing up those good children. But aside making sure that the projects are completed, I intend to support now as much as possible.
Members of the coalition of military pensioners on Wednesday stormed the Federal Ministry of Finance in Abuja to demand for the payment of their entitlements. The protesters, with banners of various inscriptions, barricaded and blocked the entrance to the ministry, chanting various solidarity songs. Correspondent Koliojo reports that the retirees across Nigeria expressed their frustration over the persistent delay in the payment of their entitlement, despite securing approval for the fund. The retirees from the Federal Ministry of Finance, they however declared the protest will continue until all the demands are met. The protest led to heavy traffic around the Federal Secretariat in Abuja on Wednesday. Ondo State Security Network, codenamed Amotekmo, has paraded 22 suspected criminals in the state for various offences. Commander of the Corps, Adetunji Adeleye, said this while parading the suspects for various crimes. 19 suspects were arrested for breaking law and order, while 3 others for kidnapping.
Are parading 22 suspects that were arrested around the 18 local governments of Ondo State within the last 14 days.
Technical glitches. Now, still on security matters, the signing of peace accord by Governor Obasani with bandits is already creating a safe way for peaceful atmosphere in the state. His predecessor, former Governor El Rufai, during his tenure, had vowed never to have any peace deal with bandits in the state. Although, with all strategies put in place, bandits continue to unleash terror in the lives of the people in the state, which became a major concern for the state government. Governor Obasani, thinking differently, says signing a peace accord with your enemy would have them accountable, especially when things go wrong. A thinking as manifested as 4 children of a young man kidnapped in Millennium City were promptly released and handed over to the family, even as ransom of 25 million naira demanded by the bandit was never paid. The National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu, who commended Governor Obasani for his leadership in ensuring the safe rescue of the kidnapped victims in Kaduna. As part of efforts to ensure that it meets the mandate of the Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Emmanuel Ogala, in meeting the oil production target of 2.2 million barrels per day before December ending, the forwarded operating base of the Nigerian Navy Escravos has formed a working synergy with Uborodo and Oboroza communities of various southwest local government areas of Delta State through medical rhapsody. Our correspondent, Deli Faso, who was at the coastal communities, completes the story.
Arriving the coastal communities of Aruton and Oporoza with officers and men of the Nigerian Navy Forward Operating Base before supervising the free medical rhapsody, the commanding officer, Navy Captain Ikenna Okoloagu, said the synergy with the Shekiri and Ijaw communities will go a long way in boosting oil production in Nigeria.
Agreeing now, we endear the populace to the Nigerian Navy, which by, which will also result in bringing information to us for those who be criminals to avert such things, and thereby, this is in line with the activities lined up by the Nigerian Navy to mark the end of the year. Today, Forward Operating Base Escravos is conducting a medical rhapsody in 2 communities. That is Aroton, where we are, and Oporoza, both in Warri Southwest local government area of Delta State. The conduct of this medical rhapsody is a civil-military cooperation initiative of the Nigerian Navy, which is a non-kinetic means aimed at winning the hearts and mind of the host communities towards strengthening the existing cordial relationship between the Nigerian Navy and the host communities in their respective areas of operation.
Meanwhile, both the young and the elderly from both communities
Hello and welcome to the Foreign News. Netumbo Nandi Ndatawa from the governing Southwest Africa People's Organization has been voted in as Namibia's first female president after last week's disputed election. The Electoral Commission said she had won more than 57% of vote, with her closest rival getting 26%, following logistical problems and a 3-day extension to polling in some part of the Patriot for Change party said it will challenge the result in court. Most opposition parties boycotted the result announcement on Tuesday evening in the capital. The Namibian paper report on Wednesday, the last day of a trip to Africa, to tout a plan to extend a railway that could channel critical minerals from Congo to the west. The United States has provided a $550 million loan to support the venture, which involves refurbishing an existing railway through Angola and extending it into Congo's mining heartland as part of the first phase. No date has been given for its completion yet. A second phase of the project envisions connecting and extending the Lobito corridor through Tanzania. The U.S. has funded feasibility studies, but critics say it will offer a rival route east to China, undermining the entire project. After Donald Trump is sworn in as U.S. president in January, Washington is expected to take a harsher line with China, and some officials have questioned whether U.S. support for the eastern route will continue. U.S. officials announced financing this week through the Development Finance Corporation worth $600 million for projects including solar, minerals and telecommunications along the first phase of the project. Israeli attacks on Lebanon have killed 4,047 people and wounded 16,000, Minister Firas Biad said. The attacks have killed 316 children and 790 women. The conflict between Israel and Lebanese militant group Hezbollah was ignited by the war between Israel and Hamas in Gaza, which erupted on October 7, 2023. Fighting intensified in Hassan Nasrallah and conducting heavy strikes on the capital Beirut and throughout Lebanon. As of late last month, Israel authorities said Hezbollah strikes had killed 45 civilians in northern Israel and the Israeli-occupied Golan Heights, and at least 73 Israeli soldiers have been killed in northern Israel, the Golan Heights, and in combat in southern Lebanon. The United States and France brokered a ceasefire between Israel and Hezbollah on November 27 in the hope of ending the deadliest confrontation between Israel and the militant group in years. Both sides accused the other of breaching the truce. Abiad said Lebanon had registered 67 Israeli attacks on hospitals, that 40 hospitals were directly targeted, and lawmakers submitted a bill on Wednesday to impeach President Yoon Suk-yeol after he declared martial law and reversed the move hours later. Triggering a political crisis in Asia's fourth largest economy, the surprise declaration of martial law in the major U.S. ally late on Tuesday caused a standoff with Parliament, which rejected Yoon's attempt to ban political activity and censor the media as armed troops forced their way into the National Assembly building in Seoul. The main opposition Democratic Party called for Yoon, who has been in office since 2022, to resign or face impeachment. 6 South Korean opposition parties later submitted a bill in parliament to impeach Yoon, with voting set for Friday or Saturday. There were deep divisions in Yoon's ruling People Power Party, as well as its leader called for Defense Minister Kim Yong-hong to be fired and the entire cabinet to resign. Kim has offered to resign, the defense ministry said. Yoon told the nation in a TV address late on Tuesday that martial law was indeed to defend the country from nuclear-armed North Korea and pro-North. Chaotic scenes ensued as troops tried to seize control of the parliament building, although they stood back when parliamentary aides sprayed them with fire extinguisher while protesters scuffled with police outside. The French government is facing a no-confidence vote after Prime Minister Michel Barnier pushed through budget measures without parliamentary approval has been removed this way in more than 60 years. The National Assembly is due to vote after debating 2 motions introduced by the left-wing camp and far-right nationalists, which together count more than 330 politicians. A no-confidence motion requires at least 288 of 574 votes to pass. The far-right National Rally of 3-time presidential candidate Marine Le Pen is expected to. Human rights groups in Guinea say they believe more than 135 football fans, which is unverified, far exceeds the official number of deaths at 56. The group said the estimate was based on information from hospital, cemeteries, witnesses at the stadium, families of victims, mosques, churches and local media. More than 50 others are still missing, it said. The military government, however, has warned against spreading the largest city in Zerekore. Justice Minister Yahya Kairaba Kaba said he had instructed the opening of a judicial inquiry against the alleged perpetrators. He said anyone disseminating unverified or malicious information will be arrested and prosecuted. The deadly incident followed the controversial refrain.
My name is Gratitude Imokwede. Here are the rest of the stories for today.
Rising Nollywood actress Ashabi Simple has returned to her singer, lover and baby daddy, Habib Okikiola, otherwise known as Portable. Today, Ashabi Simple shared multiple photos of herself and her man on her Instagram page with praises and prayers. Nollywood actress Jayola Monche has expressed gratitude to the Oni of Ife, Oba Adeyeye Ogunwusi, following her courtesy visit to the Queen Moremi Ajasoro 2024 event in Ile-Ife, Osun State. In the clip she posted online, she was seen kneeling as she conversed with the monarch. In another clip, Jayola was captured sitting on the floor as she engaged in another round of conversation with the Oni. In her caption, she expressed gratitude to him for his endorsement and support for her forthcoming project. She praised the Oni for his contribution to art and culture, which she stated is remarkable, and for being a shining example of leadership and vision. Nollywood actor Francis Duru has penned down an emotional note to his late son Ifeanyi on his 16th birthday. Sharing a photo of the deceased, he noted how his son was looking forward to his 16th birthday. Unfortunately, death snatched him while he was still young.